If you like to read, if you like to think, if you like to see the world differently, grab yourself a book, give the show a listen. Purple Lit Nerd gonna show you what you're missing.
Welcome to the Purple LitNerd podcast for February the 10th, 2018. I am your host, the amazingly adorable Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my kitchen table in my new apartment, which I think I want to still call Thistle work, but I kind of, my apartment complex has a Chaucer reference in its, property name, and so I kind of want to go the LitNerd in me goes, it's got to be something to do with Geoffrey Chaucer, but how do I put Thistle with Chaucer? Because Chaucer is not a verb. Okay. So it's okay, this'll work feels right because, this'll work. It's it's not the greatest apartment in the world. I'm really excited about it. I'll tell you why in a little bit. But it's not the greatest apartment in the world. It's not necessarily, I think, the smallest one square footage that I've ever been in. But it's not huge. It's got 5 closets though. I'm so excited. I've never been so excited about closets, and I went, oh my god, how did I get so old? No, I've got a coat closet and a pantry in my dining room, and then towel linen closet in the bathroom, which is great. And then I've got a storage closet out on my porch, on my patio. And then I've got a, of course, my bedroom closet, which is, it's huge in the sense that it's, really long. It's huge. Oh, my gosh. It's really, I can't even believe it. Once I get all my stuff settled and my clothes washed and hung up in there, I think I'm going to start recording my podcasts in there for better sound quality. Anyways, but I would call it this'll work because that's a really fun pun, and that's what I'd been planning on calling it. But then I started thinking, no, you know what? It's got a reference to Canterbury in the Canterbury Tales in Chaucer, and I should do something Chaucer related, or maybe I'll call it Jeff, Geoffrey Chaucer, but Jeff. We'll call it Jeff, and it's Jeff Vader, or I don't know, Thistle Jeff Thistle. I don't know. I'm having fun. Anyways, so that's nothing to do with the topic at hand. I'm sorry. I'm excited. The topic at hand is the help. And I don't have my listy list. My listy list and my outline has gotten lost in my boxes and stuff. But I went, Becca, you've got to do your podcast because that's what you do. That's your thing. Do it. So I'm gonna do this off the cuff, and it's gonna be probably even more disorganized and meandering than usual. So the title for this show is Miss Skeeter and the Cancer. So in The Help, Skeeter, Eugenia Phelan, her mother has what we eventually find out is stomach cancer. Initially we are told as readers that it's just, bleeding stomach ulcers that agitate her from time to time. Charlotte Phelan is her name. Agitate Charlotte, Mrs. Phelan, from time to time and all that. But then as the story progresses, what we see is, or what we eventually find out, is that it is in fact stomach cancer. So if you pay attention, and I'll be honest with you, it took me reading this book probably about 10 times over the past, 3 or 4 years to finally go, oh, I see it now. Metaphorically speaking. Blind joke. For me, yeah. But there's a distinct progression in Miss Charlotte's cancer and Miss Skeeter's discovery of how bad race relations are in Mississippi in the 1960s. So the first time that we even learn about, the stomach problems, Skeeter has just come home from bridge club where Hilly Holbrook, the queen bee of Jackson society, has talked about the Negro situation and how they all need their own bathrooms because they carry different diseases than white people, and these diseases could kill white people. So she's wanting to put together a law or an initiative or what the fuck ever, to force all homes to have a separate bathroom for the help. And Skeeter goes, that's fucking stupid, except she says it differently. And Hilly says, don't argue with me or I'm going to throw you out of the league. Which, I'll get to why that makes me laugh later. Anyways, but Skeeter comes home and she's still fuming about this. Like, just realizing how racist her friend actually is. I mean, she's still pining after, or kind of grieving the loss, even though she doesn't know the full extent of that loss yet, of her childhood housekeeper / nanny, Constantine. And so she's still fuming about this, and she gets home and she notices stains on the front of her mom's dress that are consistent with the stains she would get if she had been throwing up because of her ulcers, but didn't quite make it to the toilet in time. And so that's kind of interesting. And then you see the severity of these episodes. Like, it's almost like a little footnote. It's almost like Skeeter is ruminating on something horrible that she found out about, from Aibileen or from one of the other maids when they eventually get other maids. And then she has a conversation with her mom, and her mom's getting weaker, or her mom's in more pain, or her mom's not eating, or what have you. When Skeeter goes to meet her boyfriend Stuart's parents, and they have this big family dinner with the Stuart and his parents and Skeeter and her parents. Miss Charlotte can't hardly eat anything at all. And she's just mostly moving food around her plate to make it look like she has been eating. And at the same time, Skeeter is on edge. I mean, not least because she's meeting her boyfriend's parents and other issues with that, but because the maids in that house, the help in that house, keep looking at her like they know what she's doing. And it's not like this, ooh, I'm going to tell on you sort of thing. It's this sort of what the hell do you think you're doing kind of thing. And so that's, even though it's not at the forefront of her narrative dialogue at that time, internal and external, you can tell that that's in the back of her mind. And so you've got this sort of parallel between that and then her mom moving her food around and not being able to eat. But then the culmination of all this comes right when she's finished the book and she sent it off, and I don't think she ever outright says it, but I get this sense, and maybe I'm projecting onto this character a little bit, but I get this sense of almost like, oh my god, what is gonna happen? Because now I've exposed race relations in Mississippi. And oh my god, it is so horrible, the race relations in Mississippi, the way that black people, and particularly black maids, specifically black maids, are treated in this state. And it's horrifying to her to kind of look at it from this almost third person point of view and wonder what Miss Stein is going to think about it, the publisher in New York, or what some random person in Dubuque is going to think about it. And I mean, like, so, but it's only then that the doctor comes out and says it's cancer. It's cancer. And I think that's a very apt metaphor for this slow awakening of a lot of white people in America in general, in the South specifically, back in the 1960s, 50s and 60s. This slow awakening of oh, well, this is how it's always been done, and they never really questioned it, and all of a sudden they're going, oh my god, what? and it's sickening, to think about. And so I think that's a very apt metaphor for racism in general, is cancer. The part that I'm still trying to wrap my brain around is Miss Charlotte's almost miraculous recovery after the book has been published. And it's almost sad that that we're happy that this character is going to die. But if you look at this symbol of like racism, if you look at this as a symbol of racism in the South, and it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be so happy that it's that she's going to live. Maybe we should want her to die, like now, very painfully. But I mean, I guess it's, at the same time, I guess, even though it's a bittersweet thing, it's, there's still work to be done. It's not going to completely go away. But we can make things better somehow. Miss Charlotte, she has some medication that makes it easier for her to live on. I guess we can make it better somehow. So, it's a really interesting sort of metaphor, allegory, analogy, like seeing this parallel between Skeeter and the stories in Miss Charlotte and the cancer. And looking at that as this overall metaphor for racism in the South, and I mean, multiple times throughout the book, like Skeeter says in her narrative, like to her it was always just that's how it was. She never stopped to question it. Because it was always this way. And I mean, I'm gonna get into that into a later show, probably more in depth, and also when I have notes. But it's just